Whoops. All right, I can see all of my ticker text did not get in there, and so some of it's the very end of it's cut off there at the same time. It's supposed to say at the same time, and then schedule. Anyway, so we have audio, so that's good. Let's do a thing called starting. Not the crisp 11:05 start time. What is it? 11:08 now. So a little bit later today. Running a little bit late. Time gotta wait for me, as time will do to you sometimes. That's why I call it time. You're watching youtube.com/coachstevemoney. I am Coach Steve Money. I'm a Ramsey Solutions certified financial coach. And for my financial content, just scroll past the Oak Island playlist and the Skinwalker Ranch playlist. And you'll see the Ramsey Show Aftershow show. And hey, look, that's today's. And it is episode 576. There's also answering your financial questions. That is an 8 p.m. stream that I do most weekdays when I cannot do an after show. So, like for example, I'm doing an after show, and working tonight, so there will be none tonight. And the schedule is on that ticker as well, upcoming schedule for the next week or so. The music playlist has 12 Ramsey adjacent songs in there that talk about the just Ramsey world in general, talks about the personalities a little bit. Most of it's about the advice, though, like how to do the baby steps right. And that's it has all the things that people do incorrectly. Like one of the big things is, and fortunately not a lot of people do this, but some people think you're supposed to do all of the baby steps at the same time. Dumb as crap. Alrighty. Oh, that's not what I wanted to do. I didn't want to go back to YouTube. I wanted to go to the next tab. There we are. All right. Not today, dementia. Market report. We're all down currently. I used to like doing the Ramsey show in the afternoon because that way we would get the whole day. Because this all could easily turn around by the end of the day, or of course it could go worse as well. So. Don't know. What do we want to talk about that? See what the rest of the planet is looking like. Mostly down in Europe, mostly up in Asia. Let's see what that US dollar is like. Normally on a bad market day, the dollar is going to be up. Let's see. The dollar is up against the euro, up against the Japanese yen, up against the British pound, love, up against the Canadian dollar, and up against the Australian dollar. So I must not have dementia that bad because I was able to figure out that pattern. After I would do this and look at this every day, and it occurred to me, oh, it's most of the time it's the opposite of what the market is doing. So interesting. Who do we have coming up here for reporting? Oh, tomorrow. Is that today? That's today. Oh, at 8 a.m. they reported. So let's see what they reported. Walmart reported. And let's see if that's good news or not. I would think not, since the stock's down and the market's down. Let's see. Miss analyst expectations. Okay. After earnings profit outlook misses forecasts. Okay. And does it say what do they think for next time? They generally do a projection, and it doesn't mention it. Even as it says tariff costs are rising. Oh, they hike sales and earnings outlook. Okay, well, I mean, if it was overly down this past time, they may have reason to think it will go up. And plus there's the back to school sales, etc., etc., and there's the holidays coming up. People be overspending on the Thanksgiving and the Christmas, etc., etc. So maybe that's why they are thinking that. Oh, let's see what else. Let's look at the headlines. July home sales rise as prices approach inflection point. Okay, I don't know what inflection point is. Let's look it up. Inflection point. And let's learn. We're learning today. The word of the day is inflection point. Point of a curve in which change in the direction of curvature occurs. Okay. In business, a time is significant change in a situation, a turning point. Right. Right. Did the Fed say anything about I saw something recently. I didn't think it was time for them to decide again whether they're going to lower or do nothing, which they normally do. Keep rates the same. I don't know, but I saw something about that, like that was coming up recently. Workday is also today, this afternoon. Intuit and PDD Holdings are next week, 4 days. Yeah, that's like Monday or so. Walmart stock. Well, I didn't know this was here, or we could have just sufficed with that. My bad. Didn't look at it ahead of time. I like to be tabula rasa. That means like a clear table, like a clean table, like a clean slate, where you don't have any advanced knowledge of it, and you're just reacting to it live. And that is, I believe that's Spanish. Cracker Barrel unveils a controversial logo change. All right. And there's got to be controversies all the time, and even if it's not a real controversy, who is it this time? CNN's not above saying something's a controversy when like one person is upset about it. We found this one Twitter post, or I guess it's X now, kids. But if you type in twitter.com, it still goes to there. So they found one Twitter post that didn't like it, maybe. And they said, oh, it's a controversy. Fox News woman kicks Southwest employee. Oh, probably it shouldn't come to blows when you are flying, when you're at an airport, and pretty much any interaction with another human other than a boxing match or any other type of fighting style, probably shouldn't come to blows. Punches computer monitors in violent airport meltdown. Okay. Well, you probably wouldn't, you wouldn't want somebody to punch your computer when you make a mistake, do something dumb. So, but I get it. I've flown before. It can be stressful. But, no excuse. Governor Newsom, Yahoo News UK, the Yahoo News US can't report on a US thing, I guess. Governor Newsom, just California governor, reacts to Bed Bath & Beyond's refusal to open stores in California. I'm sure. And they probably have a great reason, like California costs too much to do business in. That's why there are no movies made there anymore, even though Hollywood is there. That's why In-N-Out doesn't have their corporate headquarters there anymore, but that's where most of their stores are. So there must be a reason. The problem must be California. And of course, the governor and other people, politically wise, etc., don't want to admit that California is the problem, and they are. Meta freezes AI hiring after blockbuster spending spree. Well, that's probably a good idea. And see, if you don't go overboard with spending or anything else, hiring too many people, etc., if you don't go overboard to begin with, then you don't have to put a freeze on it. And then you don't have to let people go either. So that was pretty dumb. Mark. Maybe Mark doesn't have anything to do with it. Maybe it's underlings that did all of that. And he was like, what? Hackers who exposed North Korean government. Hacker, explain why they did it. Okay. Publicity to be good guys. Gals can hack. SpaceX has built the machine to build the machine, but what about the machine? Okay. Very clever title. NVIDIA down 0.29%. Intel down 1.6%. All right, so, oh, and the most followed single stocks on the Google, everything down except, oh no, not everything down. Alphabet's up, that's your Google and your YouTube. Microsoft up 0.323%. And that's it. The rest of them are down. The other four are down. All right. Let's do some questiones. What is that? Oh, that's the other window I opened. All right, let's do some questions. How about that? All right. Need some opinions. I have some. I have plenty. Is that the right spot? Credit card debt and wedding coming up. Yeah, you know, let's do everything all at the same time. We want to do it all at the same time. And we definitely have to have a really, really expensive blowout party wedding while we're also trying to be smart with money and pay off a credit card debt. So generally, expensive weddings and the baby steps don't jive up with each other. Unless you start the baby steps way before the wedding. But need some opinions. Is glittering piece 6435. I am a couple of days out from closing on a house. The whole thing. And thanks for spelling out the options and giving a numbered list. Very nice. Couple days from closing on a house, and other than that, the only debt I have is my car. And so the first thing we automatically think of is, oh, car debt is step 2. Should you be buying a house? No, because saving the down payment would come in step 3B, and that's after your full emergency fund, and that's after you pay off all non-mortgage debt. So you're doing it wrong. You're doing it in the wrong order, and what that is going to make happen is that getting through these steps is going to take longer because you're doing it wrong. I owe about 19K on a car, and Kelly Bluebook says I could get around 17K for it. I have some investments and savings, and definitely want to get rid of this car, the car payment. The way I see it, I have 2 options, and most people don't. They just do think about, oh, well, I just need 2 options. Yeah, pros and cons. We just have 2 options. There are plenty of other options you can do. Let's see if I come up with one. If that's the best thing to do, in my opinion. Let's see. Liquidate. The number 1, liquidate my investments and pay off my car in full. That is what would happen. And it wouldn't be retirement investments, though. If it's in a retirement account, you don't do that. But if it's just regular savings above the $1,000 starter emergency fund, all that money should have already gone to the car. And of course, if it's in a brokerage account, meaning a non-retirement account, non-tax advantaged account, then you can take the money out at any time, and you just have to pay taxes on the gains. Then that money too, as well, should have also been put towards the car. Like, for example, it would have been put towards the car instead of even opening that account. But people love to have a hole in a bucket and try to fill it up too. People love to do that by having car debt and also investing. And that's also debt leverage. You're leveraging your car loan in order to have those investments. It's called debt leverage, Mr. Ramsey. Not a fan. Does not advise. And 2, trade my car in at a slight loss, pay the difference, and buy a car in cash for 5 to 7K. Okay, if you were looking for the... If you looked at the Kelly Blue Book private sale, you're not getting the private sale amount from trading in the car in, okay? Because when you deal with a dealership, guess what? They are going to make money off of the deal. So that means you benefit less from the deal. So buy and sell private sale, not with a dealer. And so if you looked at the private sale number, that's not what you need to be looking at. You need to be looking at the dealership number. Number 1, I lose all my positions. I don't give a crap about your positions. You have debt. You're not supposed to have any positions. And won't have much cash or investments left over for emergencies. You're not supposed to. You're supposed to have $1,000. So you see, kids, there's a thing called the baby steps, and it spells this stuff out. And so if you have even read this one time, you might in the back of your head saying, be saying, now I know I'm, just running my mouth here, making excuses about I won't have much cash or investments. Is something in the back of your head should be saying, wait a minute, maybe that's the plan. And even if you don't remember, maybe you go back to the baby steps list and see if it explains why you want to do something, or what the advice is rather, and not doing that, reading this stuff and still wanting to do the dumbass crap you did to get yourself into this is what you're continuing to do here by thinking about. And so, the debt, you're cash leveraging, having debt in order to have extra cash investments. And you're not supposed to do that. That's not the Ramsey advice. He's the no debt guy. In case you did not know. What up, Sid? How are you? And Mr. Sid and Baby Sid. But I'll keep a reliable car. Okay, and people are nutty about that as well. They think if they buy a used car, it won't be as reliable as the one they have now. No one knows. No one knows. Your reliable car could end up having a lot of problems from now on. It could die tomorrow. We do not know. Option 2, I said my investments have more cash on hand, but car might be less reliable. No, and so the answer is, of course, neither of those. Don't be dumb is the advice. Option 3, don't be dumb. You do liquidate and pay off that debt because you shouldn't even have that to begin with. And so I don't know, people don't seem to be able to get there either. If you read this and comprehend it, the advice, and if you watch the shows and dig in, if you read books, if you search for videos on the YouTube, etc., the things that aren't clear eventually will become clear, and you might take the leap there and say, wait a minute, this doesn't say anything about having extra savings, having more than $1,000 while I still have debt. It doesn't say to do that. It also doesn't say to invest until step 4. Maybe I shouldn't have done that, and so I'll undo it. And people, they don't like to do that either, as you can imagine. Option 2, and then upgrade every 10 months with the 5K I will be saving at that time. No, you don't make a calendar like that. You use that money to get further ahead on the baby steps, and you repair a car only when you need to. Quit being dumb. What would Ramsey do? He would do the baby steps instead of the dumb crap you're doing. I'm leaning towards second option. Just wanted to hear some outside opinion. Thanks. 35 comments there. So hopefully somebody mentioned you doing it wrong. You thinking about it wrong. Stop it. Stop it. Bad glittering piece. 64-35. Bad. 2/3 of us are tired, but 2/3 of us get a lot more sleep than 1/3 of us. I wonder who could be getting the least sleep. I wonder who it could be, Sid. Out of that. And I probably don't have to tell you all worth it. All worth it, but I'm sure it sucks. Galen boots. Torn between selling or renting our Florida home. What would you do? Okay, so we're going to move away from Florida for whatever reason. We're going to relocate to the Midwest to, well, wherever they're going. Anyway, they're going to relocate. Hopefully not somewhere more expensive, but they're going to do that. Okay, just because you are moving does not mean you should be a landlord. If you never thought about being a landlord or wanted to be a landlord until this exact moment when you said, okay, we're gonna leave this city anyway, I guess. We're going to sell the house. And then in that moment, you started, the scheme and scam brain starts thinking about, well, this would be a good opportunity to be a landlord. And it's not for most people, I assure you. I've never done it, but I have had friends that have. There's been a lot of people in the Ramsey chat that have. Not many suggest it. Hey everyone, I'm on hold, hoping the show will take my question. I don't know. They might have. This was 8 days ago. Love to hear your advice. My husband, 37, and I, 31, are feeling stuck. Okay. And could use some outside perspective. He makes anywhere from 175 to 300K. That's a variation there. That's a range. A year, and I make 100K, and to be safe, we budget off a 300K household income. Okay. Could be safer by budgeting off a lower income. We have no debt. Great. $150,000 emergency fund. That is going to be too much, probably. Wait, 3K? Oh, no, that's 3K per year. That's going to be too much emergency fund. So if that house is not paid off, you're doing it wrong. And about 80K in our 401ks. Yeah. We got married 1 year ago and just had our first baby 2 months old, and are thinking about moving to Buffalo, New York. Brr. Hey, that's a little bit cooler than Florida. You might want to take your jacket with you when you go to Buffalo, New York, to be closer to his family. My family isn't there, but his family would definitely be more hands-on with our daughter. Right now, we own a home in Fort Lauderdale, Florida. We owe 300K on it. Yeah, and so you would not have a 150K emergency fund. That sounds extra to me. I mean, if that's 3 to 6 months of expenses, hopefully closer to 6 months of expenses, knock yourself out. That's fine. That seems excessive to me, though. Where we 300, bought it for 505K and could probably sell for 515 or 550K. We put about 60K into it, but the market isn't super strong right now. Yeah, definitely be remodeling and stuff. I mean, 60K might just be repairs and minor things. Houses do be expensive. Might have not have been a major remodel thing. Our monthly mortgage with taxes and insurance is $4,000. Okay. Even with that, I don't know where they're coming up with the 150,000 emergency fund. I think they just picked a number out of their heads, I believe. So they're doing it wrong. Here's where we're torn. Nothing's fine. I'm torn. Could rent for about $44,000 a month. which would cover the mortgage but not make much profit. Yeah, that's going to be a no. Because guess what? One bad roof, you're done. You're not making any money than that. You're actually losing money on that. So that's a no. Buy a smaller transition home in Buffalo for $350K. You could even look for one cheaper than that. People always want to buy way more house than they need. Or can afford is the most important thing. Put $75K down and take in on a $275K mortgage. This means 2 mortgages. Yeah, and guess how many you're supposed to have? 1 on your residence. You don't have a mortgage on rental property. That would be doing it wrong. That would be debt leveraging to be a landlord. So that's going to be a no for Mr. Ramsey on that. Pros: keep Florida property for future appreciation, still have ties to Florida. Cons: Mr. Ramsey says no. Landlord headaches: indeed. Rise of vacancy, repairs, double mortgages with a newborn. And especially, guess what? Since you're not going to be in the frickin' state, you're going to be up north in Buffalo, New York. I mean, sure, they have a winning football team right now, but it's cold up there, dog. Option 2, sell the Florida house and buy in Buffalo. Yes, but you don't need to buy as expensive a house as you think you do. Everybody thinks they need to buy a very expensive house. Pros: simpler life, 1 mortgage. Okay, and too long didn't read. I already read it. Sorry. But go all in a long-term Buffalo home. Actually, no. If you have not lived in Buffalo before, especially if you have not even visited his family in the Buffalo, then you don't buy a house there. You would rent for a year there. And then see if you want to live there or not, and then you can move back to Florida if you're like, let me talk to you again in February, March, April, after you've done a Buffalo winter. I'll talk to you then and ask you, are you good still? You good still? It gets chilly there, doesn't it? Hope you brought a jacket. He started smiling on purpose this week. Oh, that's so cute. That's so cute. Many people confuse expenses and income when it comes to the emergency fund. Oh, yeah. You're right, Sid. And they're nutty. And someone that can confuse expenses and income, they probably shouldn't be a landlord either. Oh no, losing a foothold in one of the most volatile, vanishing real estate markets in the country. What a travesty. Right. A lot of, they're lucky that more of it isn't underwater already. So, not just underwater financially, but literally. Let's see. Pit Kempo won. Today was a struggle. All right, let's see more about it. I own a 2010 Prius with 130 miles on it. Dropped it off to have some problems fixed that totaled $4,300. Took everything in me to not break down and just go out and buy a newer car. Okay, well, you and I are very different people, though. There may have been a time where I would have been more like that, but not like that. I've a fully funded emergency fund. I bought one new car ever, and I'm gonna claim minority, well, not minority status, but I was 16, and for some reason I was allowed to sign for a car with my dad as a co-signer when I was 16. So I don't know if they're still doing that, but they probably shouldn't be. But yeah, bought that one. Did pay it off. Did keep it the entire time. Paid it off. This was before Ramsey, though. I don't know that I even knew who Dave Ramsey was at that time. This would have been 1984, something like that. Ghostbusters, that kind of time frame. And I probably didn't start listening to Dave until the 90s. But anyway, let's see. Fully funded emergency fund. Okay. But it still hurts dropping that kind of money. Well, sure, especially on an older vehicle. Well, sure, but if you did buy a newer car, you don't know that wouldn't have even more problems than this one. See, that's the fallacy, and that's the justification station that people use these days to justify things that they want. Because it's not a need to get a newer car, but a lot of people, especially a lot of guys, love cars, and they always want a newer car. And I don't care, as long it can be a piece of crap, as long as it gets me from A to B, and that's what mine does. And I bought it for $2,000, $1,750, and it needed $250 of work, so $2,000. And yeah, over the past 5 years, it needed new brake lines, and I think that was $800. And is that better than having payments? Absolutely. Is it better than spending more and buying a little bit newer vehicle? Yes. Way worth. It feels better having repaired my car versus, okay, getting a new one, and hopefully I get in a few more years or more out of it. Just need to vent a little. Okay. Thanks for coming to me, TED Talk. You are so welcome. And, the person got there. And sometimes it takes a minute for somebody to get there to the end of it. And on something like this, I start and then go directly to the end. I don't have the little, oh, I should buy a new car instead. I don't have that little drop off there. That little, that little exit off of the interstate to the main idea. How am I doing? Let's see. Brain Covey 32. How am I doing? Or is that Covey? Currently live in Washington State, Pacific Northwest there. Washington Liberation Front. Last of Us. No income tax. High property tax. It's gonna happen, man. That is on a coast, right? That is on the water, right? Yeah. That's gonna happen. Expensive gas. Current salary is $83,000 salary. Non-exempt. Hey, guess what? That doesn't sound like that much for a high cost of living area, my man. Estimating to make $150K this year before. Okay, that's good. Before taxes, $4K a month in VA disability, not included in the $150K. Okay, I would include it. It's still coming in. Major bills, $3,500 mortgage. Paid $3,900 a month to cover premium. Insurance premiums. Bought home for $490 in 2023 at VA loan rate of 5.4%. Still owe $480 towards the mortgage. Yeah. 100 utilities, 200 auto, home insurance. 94. Well, what's the premiums? To cover premiums. I don't know what cover premiums mean if that's not the house insurance. 90 for 2 cell phones, 50 for internet. That's fine. 17 for Netflix. I'll allow it because there's no non-mortgage debt. $99 annually for Amazon Prime. $200 to $300 a week for groceries. How many people? Groceries, eat out rarely due to dietary restrictions. Okay, that's a help. That's a help. That's when nature decides, oh, well, we're going to have you not be eating out. Of course, that sometimes dietary restrictions can sometimes cause you to buy more expensive food. And so, like all of your keto or all of your other dumb stuff that you have to do to get in shape and stuff like that, you put that to the side momentarily while you get your dumb butt out of debt and have your full emergency fund, and then you go back to that program. Nothing wrong with that program. That's great, but that costs way too much money. Those some of those things do anyway. 243 for auto loan. Beep, beep, boo doo. I take it back about the Netflix then. That will be finished in September of this year. 80 to 90 a week for gas. What is this person's emergency fund like? And you would be liquidating that to pay off the car. 80 to 90 a week for gas. That's a lot of gas, dude. Where are you driving to? No vehicle registration due to disabled. Okay. They don't make you register a vehicle. Or they don't charge you. Yeah, none save any savings yet. Maybe we'll get to that. Currently have about 10 to 11K in credit card debt too. Yeah, due to IVF treatments and preparing to move to Tejas. Oh, yeah. Texas will be nice. And you still get the no state tax. Selling home for 515K. Real estate agent says even if we get asking, we will most likely lose money on this home at the tune of about 5K. Yeah, you didn't buy it that long ago, did you? 2023. Yeah, and the maybe didn't know in time, but you would not be buying a house if you would be moving 2 years later. You would not be buying a house. That the advice would be not to do that. But renting in Texas for 1 to 2 years in order to restore our savings that got greatly depleted. Landed a rental home for $16.50 a month. Salary and job will stay the same. That'll transfer with company. Great. Easy. Makes it easy. Everything's cheaper in Texas, and the only expensive culprit, property tax, I don't have to pay due to disabled veteran. Okay. 140K between two IRAs. You wouldn't touch that anyway. 60K in a high yield savings account that we don't look at or touch. Well, you're doing it wrong. You should touch it and apply it to your debt. Obviously, you would want to make sure you do have enough money to move. You will need moving expenses. But beyond that, you should not have money in a high yield savings account. That is, again, debt leveraging to have that high yield savings account amount while you still carry credit card and car debt. So you're doing it wrong. I currently have 68K in a company, right, 401K. We don't, that you contribute to. Yeah, you stop contributing right now and you get rid of your debt. You're doing it wrong. Invest annually in a discounted company stock with company match. Stop it. You're doing it wrong. I can't touch for a minimum. Currently I have 4,500 in company stock that I can't touch for a minimum of 5 years. Will invest the max allowed annually. Yeah, no, you won't. Not this year. You should not. The advice would be no, you do not do that. Currently only have about 2K in savings. Should only have 1K. Depleted due to IVF treatments and other out-of-pocket medical costs related to IVF. So how am I doing and what can I change or do better? Okay, so as I said, you're doing it wrong, and so you do it correctly. And so you would not be having the high yield savings account. You would not be having the company investments. Mr. Ramsey does not advise single stocks anyway, even at the point of, even if it's a great discount, that's going to be a no. If they are giving them to you, fine, you take them, but you sell them as quickly as you can, and then you use the money otherwise for smart things, like you apply it to whatever baby step you're on. And of course, you shouldn't be doing and buying any of that stuff if you're on steps 1, 2, or 3. Or you can just sell them and buy better investments if you are on step 4 or higher. So how are you doing? What can you change or do better? A lot of the stuff, and I said it as we went along. So every time I said you're doing it wrong, that's something you can change and do better. But I mean, this is normal. People do this kind of crap all the time. They carry car and credit card debt, and then they want to like invest and do everything all the time and buy a freaking house when they're not even going to stay there 2 years. Granted, might not have known that ahead of time. You know, I only stayed in Arkansas for 2 years. I didn't know I was only going to stay there that time. Wish I had, but we don't know that stuff in advance. So I'll give them a break on that. But regardless of that, doing it wrong, doing a number of things incorrectly. And if you would just read the baby steps and apply it to your life instead of trying to see how your life fits in with the baby steps, it doesn't do that. You change your life to match the baby steps. Do I sell my truck? Almost always when they ask, the answer is yes. Ecstatic Werewolf 8352. Do I sell my truck? 221. 200. That was a long time ago. 2021 Tundra is worth $50,000. I owe $31.5K. How about $60K in other consumer debt? Student loans on the wife's car is about $23K. And make 223 gross and 170K net. And why did we have to go into debt? Just because it's normal? The truck is the notorious million mile 5.71 V8. Oh, well, that changes everything. It doesn't. And the plan is to drive it till it dies. That's a no as well. Do you sell your truck? Yes. That's too much to be. You're losing too much in equity on it. And you have credit card debt. You have the student loans and the wife's car too. The wife's car should probably be sold too. The idea is that you get out of baby step 2 in 3 years or less. Or fewer. Yeah. So yeah, I would seriously think about selling both of them, as I said. But again, you can keep anything that would allow you to get out of baby step 2 within 3 years. If it's going to take longer than that, that's exactly when you would sell cars and maybe even downgrade in-house as well. Because 3 years too long to be on baby step dose. Buying a new truck. Okay. People love to do that. Apparently, I make 100K a year. House is paid off. Make an extra 40K. So guess what? Okay, well, all right. If you include the 40K from real estate income, but not if those real estate properties have mortgages on them, then you would sell them and not include this in your fake income amount, while you're also paying it right back to mortgage. Let's see, about 3K worth of debt left to pay off. Yeah, there's none of that. You would not do that. You would need to be completely out of debt, and at least on step 4, and be a millionaire before you buy that. I have 50K, 60K in savings. Again, dumb, normal. Dumb, normal. People always have debt, and sometimes they have a lot of savings. And, you know, I mean, it's a little more understandable if you're dumb and you have a bunch of debt, but you also don't have a bunch of savings. That makes more sense. If you have the money, why not pay cash? Oh, well, this is called debt leverage. Yeah, no crap. Mr. Ramsey is the no debt guy and the no debt leverage guy. Let's see, car died. I'm in the market for something new. Looking at a Tundra. I'm not sure. The other guy had a Tundra. This guy has a Tundra, the one right before you. Buy his Tundra. And I'm not sure if it's the right decision. The Tundra will be about 75K. No, that's a no. And you know how I know you can't afford that is because you said you make 100K a year. I mean, even if you include the 140, I mean, that's at 70K. That's close to it. But again, you have to be a millionaire to buy a new car. If this is a used one, that's still a no, because you cannot spend that much on a car when you only make 140. You don't make twice the amount. And everything you own that has wheels and an engine in it, all that combined can only be half of what you make annually. So that's going to be a maximum of $70. But the problem is here that I'm guessing you're not a millionaire. And also you would not have the 3K worth of debt. You would be buying that. So you take that 60K and you pay off that debt. Look for a used Tundra that is cheaper than that. Cheaper than 75K. Safe tennis 6121. Yeah, you don't want to do the dangerous tennis. That's where they would have like, oh, what would they have? They would have like alligators on the court too while you're trying to play tennis, I guess. Stopping retirement savings for mortgage. That's going to be a no. The only exception for that would be like if you can pay it off in 2 years, fine. If you stop retirement and pay off the house and don't spend extra money on anything else either while you're doing that, don't start saying, oh, I have all this money now, it doesn't make sense to send it to the mortgage. Then see, that's where the problem would be. But yeah, if you want to take 2 years off of retirement investing, you can do that if it will mean your house will be paid off. Has anyone just stopped all saving, all investing to get rid of the mortgage? Yes, they have, and they have been advised to do so by Mr. Ramsey if you can do it in 2 years. If it's going to take longer than that, that's a no. Or even cashed out retirement account. Okay, you don't cash out retirement accounts for anything. That stays there. If you have other investing, a brokerage account, other high yield savings account, that's not the emergency fund, yeah, you would take all of that and do that, because you know what, you shouldn't even have those unless the emergency fund is in a high yield savings account, or if it's a sinking fund for like new tires or something, you can do that. But just general extra savings or investing, that's a no until step 7, meaning the house is already paid off. I bought before the bubble, so I'm in a good spot relatively, owing about 1 year's gross income on the mortgage at 4.5% plus FHA mortgage insurance. Yeah. That's why that's not recommended. The downside is taxes and insurance, and many things being original to the house or past their life. For instance, my roof is ancient and looks like a patchwork quilt. Doesn't matter what it looks like. If it keeps the water out of the house, then, and the sun and whatever else, it keeps the elements and the bugs. If the elements are staying out of the house due to the roof doing its job, it's fine. It doesn't matter what it looks like. I don't like the idea of going into debt to make an insurance company happy. Okay, then don't do it. And I'd be in a better position to deal with them with the mortgage paid off, so I could stop investing to pay off the house. That's interesting that you want to pay it off because of that, not to get it paid off. it's because of outside forces here. And there's probably one extra word on here. No, it's more stuff. Okay. So I can stop investing to pay off the house or make deferred maintenance improvements to the house, wiring, roofing, eventually plumbing. No, you would not do that. It doesn't need it. It's not something that's broken now. You're just trying to update stuff. So that's going to be a no. That's like remodeling. You don't do that. Plumbing, if you have a leak, you fix the leak. You don't remodel the bathroom. But guess what? Dumb people do that all the time. I guess I'm hesitant to put more money in my Roth IRA if I'm tempted to use it to get rid of the mortgage. Well, I see what you're saying. Yeah, and so that's fine if you can pay it off in 2 years. I'm supposed to be putting 12% of gross into it and 3% into my 401k for the match, okay? And probably likely following the advice very well, prioritizing the Roth over the 401k, but still doing the match. So that would be first priority, the 3% 401k for the match. That is the first priority. Second priority would be a Roth, and then if you had any more money to invest after that, that would go further in the 401k. Or put another way, let's say I'm 40 and 25 years away from retirement. Let's say that. Why don't I got a great idea. Why don't we just say the actual age and how long you are from retirement? When is the right time to get caught up on deferred maintenance? Oh, see, that I didn't think that was your question. I thought it was paying off the house. Deferred maintenance, if it can wait, you would do it later. You would pay off the house first. If it's something that needs to be fixed now, then you fix it now. Like 5 years for retirement, there's no right time to do that stuff. Like 5 years of retirement, you can't do that. Because guess what? People are on all different kinds of baby steps 5 years from retirement. So there's not a hard fast rule of when you can do that. And so this is more about the deferred maintenance than paying it off. It sounds like it should be more about paying it off. And guess what will help you in retirement? What will really, really help you in retirement? Oh, I know. The house being paid off and you not having a mortgage or a rent payment. But of course, since you have to do all the work to it, you are going to be laying out some money on the house. And you should probably look at it, do a sunk cost analysis on it, and sinking, because it will be happening in the future, some of the spending. See how much you'll be spending on that total, and if you want to spend that much on that old house. That's what I would take a look at for. And if you do, knock yourself out. If you don't, you can move somewhere else. Equivalent buyer 841 encouragement. I paid off something like 500k in debt. Great. The day you make that last payment is awesome. Indeed. Just stick with it. You'll get there. I got serious about this when I was over 50. Okay. Thank goodness I didn't wait quite that long. So it's never too late to stop making stupid money mistakes. That much is certain. Don't be discouraged. Realize it's hard to take courage. That's what Cyndi Lauper. True Colors. I remembered it eventually. Covered by Phil Collins later. This morning I had to take my cat to the vet. Paid $1,000 cash. Knowing my pet insurance gives me full reimbursement, took all the financial stress away. That's what paying off debt lets you do. Less stress. You can focus on something else rather than money. I don't believe Mr. Ramsey advises pet insurance, but regardless, congratulations on being the debt free. Kindly Painting 7143. Where should I move? I don't know. My husband and I are looking to move to a new house. We are in Arkansas, and I thought I should move there too, and I was wrong about that. Imagine that. In a fully paid for house, okay, great. Well, if you want to move, you can move. You would sell the house. And we're thinking about moving to Arizona. Arizona. Do, 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 do. To be closer to my fam, and it is our hometown. Great. We, however, sat down. You can stand up while you talk about money stuff. You don't have to sit down. And did a budget, and we found we would be paycheck to paycheck if we got the house we wanted. Beep beep dee doo. Everybody wants to buy a bigger house than they actually need slash can afford. And we would need to settle and get a small house. Yes. Yes. So then you do that. Or you just stay where you are. If you want a bigger house and your house that is fully paid off is bigger. I didn't think about that if, like, I mean, if you're in BOE or whatever it's called, BFE, Arkansas, in the middle of nowhere, your cost of living is going to be less than if this is, say, Phoenix, probably, or there's probably some other little richy pockets of Arizona there. Even with getting a small house, it would still be like the $1,700 increase in bills from where we currently live. Yeah, still $1,000 increase if we pay off the house. We, however, have another option to move close to his family and get the house of our dreams, and only have an increase in bills by $1,000. But if we paid off the house, then okay, I'm getting tired now. There's a lot of extra words in this. Let's see. Then it will only be an increase of $400. The only problem is we fit in more with my family's lifestyle more than him. More than his, maybe? And we already told my family that we were planning on moving to Arizona. Okay, well, as adults, you're allowed to change your freaking mind if you realize it's a mistake. If you were in my shoes, what would you do? Well, you sat down, you said, and so in sitting down, that means you should have all the numbers there to see if it makes sense. But I mean, I would think if there's an increase, you would want there to be a wage increase as well. And so what about that? What about jobs for there as well? So maybe we do a pros and cons list about everything regarding the move, not specifically just a house involved. So, but you do have multiple moving parts here. Like you could, I guess his family lives in a lower cost of living area, and so you could get the house of your dreams, quote unquote. But their lifestyle doesn't fit in with you guys, so I don't know. So, but all that plays a part for your decision to decide whether to move, and where to move, which house to move, which location to move. And you didn't say they were in Arkansas as well. They may be in a different state even. So it didn't specify that. So we'd have to have that information as well. Let's just check. I'm gonna put a nice button on that. Choo choo choo. It's a great thought. The only reason we want to move closer to family is because we have a 2-year-old and I wanted to grow up near them and to have a community to support her. Well, sometimes family turns out to be buttholes, and they aren't a good community to support your child as well. So you can't 100% count on that. So I get the sentiment, and that's great. And you would think most grandparents, etc., would love their grandchildren, etc., but it doesn't always work out like that. If we got the house we wanted, in quotes, yeah, maybe don't get the house you wanted for now. It may be well worth it to be closer to your family. Yeah. Alrighty. Let's see. We got shows coming up. We got plugs to do. Not on my head, obviously. No, advertising plugs. For me, I'm Coach Steve Money, Ramsey Solutions Certified Financial Coach. And if you, yes, you are having money problems, or you are just want to see what kind of shape you're in, see if you're on the right track, you can schedule a free financial coaching consultation / assessment with me. You email me at coachstevemoney@gmail.com, and we will work that bad boy out. Donations can go to paypal.me/coachstevemoney. Alternatively, the Cash App at $CoachSteveMoney. It wasn't taken, imagine that. Or a Walmart gift card to coachstevemoney@gmail.com. The upcoming streams, so as always, subject to change. The Ramsey Show Aftershow, that's this show that we just did, and that generally starts at 11:05 a.m. Eastern Time, and that one, the next one will be on Friday, August 22nd, and there's Monday, Tuesday, and Wednesday of next week, August 25th, 26th, and 27th. Oh, and also Monday, September 1st as well, which is Labor Day. I'm currently off. If I can get a shift, I'll work because it's double time, but currently off, and if I'm off, I'll do an after show. Answering your financial question streams are at 8 p.m. Eastern Time, and that's going to be Saturday and or Sunday, August 23rd and 24th. So it could be both of those days, could be one of them. Thursday, August 28th. Okay. And so that's it for streams for the upcoming week. I will update that as we go along for more September streams. Alrighty. Thanks so much for watching. Please subscribe, like, and comment. And as always, make smart financial decisions every day.